The final lesson with CSS is external CSS files. The benefit of using an external CSS file comes about when your website becomes quite large and you have many files or pages, and you want to change the look of your website, maybe even just one element or the whole look, which involves many elements. If you had to go and open every single page of code that you have for your site, and if you have hundreds of pages of code, I mean, sure, you can do search and find or find replace, but that can have some unintended effects. So the best way to do that is to have a centralized location or file that contains all your CSS attributes and its properties and values, and then you can just go in there and change that one time, and it will populate across your whole website, making it much faster. Now, today what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go into our file manager, and we're going to create a file, a special file called mystyle.css. So we'll go inside the htdocs. Remember, it's important to keep all your files in one folder. You don't have to, but you'll have to start using paths within the when you name the file that you're using or you want to use. So sometimes as a beginning programmer, it's just easier to have everything in one location at first anyway. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down to the bottom here and right click and do new file. And we'll give it a name. We'll call it mystyles.css. You could technically name it anything you want, but if someone else works on your website, it might be easier if you keep a uniform naming convention, that follows best practice, which this is. So we'll do OK. Once this opens up, this is where we're going to put our styles. So if I actually go back to the file manager and I open another page, let's open up my index. So now I'll have both files open. Okay, I already have my styles here, my internal and inline. So if I were to go ahead and let's take paragraph, for example, and let's copy that. And then we'll go here and we'll paste it. Now for our style sheet, our main file, we're going to go ahead and we're going to change some of this. So let's do, instead of black, oh, that's really weird how it shows the actual color right there in a little box. Let's change this to red. Okay, and then we'll save that. So now, if we were to use this style sheet, all text within the paragraph should be red. For a quick reference, let's go ahead and open up the website and let's see what it looks like right now. Currently, I think it's a blue color. Nope, here's some text and it is red. So let's go ahead and change that to, I don't know, let's change it to, well, we have black and we have red. Let's change this to blue. Oh, purple. Purple's great. Yeah, that's a good color. So let's save that. Definitely haven't used that before. So here, once again, the text is red. In our index page, we have paragraph being black, okay? But currently, it's not, because actually we're using an inline, I believe. Yeah, here's some text. Let's go ahead and remove this inline. So let's take this out and then do save. So now the text, this text on line 34 should be whatever is up here at the top, which is black. So let's make sure I save that. Let's go here and do refresh, and it is now black. You'll notice right here, right? So it's black. So let's go back here to our, we want it to be purple. So inside our main page here, within the head, we're going to use a new tag. And this new tag is going to be link. Okay. Now it's going to have two properties. The first one is going to be relevance, and it's going to be a style sheet. Okay, so now that we have relative in here, this is going to be a style sheet. Okay. The second property that we need is going to be href, which is going to be the actual URL or the location. We've used this before in an anchor tag. So it's going to be the name of the file. We called it mystyles, I think, .css. And that should be it. There is no end tag for this. So if we save this, then we have two different colors for paragraph, right? We have the one inside the My Style sheet, which should be purple, okay? And then we have the other one, which is black, which it is currently. Now, actually, you know, the default color for the browser has a default color for everything, has a default style sheet, you can say, for basically everything. And so let's go ahead and make this red. So the default, if we didn't use a style sheet at all, would now just be black. However, we're not using inline, but we do have internal, which is red, and then we have an external, which is purple. Okay, so we have three possible choices here. Now, I've talked about precedence before. Inline, or the text, the style closest to the text will be the one that will take priority, okay? So inline always takes priority because it's the closest, right? It sandwiches or nests the text. Now, there is a caveat to this, which is going to be for the internal and external. There's another precedence that takes the prime effect, which kind of falls under what I just explained, which is the last thing read will take precedence. So inline is the last thing read before it actually, displays it. So obviously that takes precedence. So the last thing read in our example here would be line 5, which is red. So let's see if that's true. Let's see if the text is now going to be red. So if we save this and we go here, it's currently black. We do refresh, it is red. Now, if the last thing read takes precedence, and we go back to our index page here, and we put the link relative after the style, right? Let me go back here. Let's put a little white space in here and make it a little easier to read. So now the last thing read should be purple, which is inside our style sheet. So let's go ahead and save this. Let's go back and hit refresh. And it is purple. So the last thing read will take precedence. Once again, if we were to use an inline, which would be here inside the paragraph tag, that would take precedence because it's the last thing being read. Okay, so if you cannot, and this will probably happen, when your page gets much larger, it gets very complex really fast. And so you might want to remember some of these rules, so to speak, of how web page display works. I hope you found this interesting. Go ahead and play with your external style sheet, and it should make your life a whole lot easier.